Eric, normally when players stand up here, they want to credit their teammates. Is this a game where you also want to credit maybe your video coach, Matt Prefontaine? He had a pretty good night tonight, right?
So Matty's the best in the business. So like when I was in Buffalo, like our video coach there is like we're talking about Matty like he's the greatest thing ever. Like he's the Connor McDavid of video coaches. Like it was like, so when I was there, they were like, I actually, this is an actual conversation I had with the video coach, Justin White. He goes, you know Matty Prefontaine? Like, what's he like as a guy? How good is he? And I was like, okay. Now I understand how good he is. Because, right. I mean, when the, like when they had their analytics meeting, he's the one, like, leading the charge. He's the best in the business. We're lucky to have him.
He should be his agent.
I think he's going to sign for an extension and a little bit of raise.
Now, on the goal that looked like they got to win it, you were pretty adamant. You waved your hand. Neil Pionk kind of waved his hand. I suspect you expected a challenge, but is that one you were pretty certain was going to come back?
I was pretty certain. I think the league's done a pretty good job of knowing what's black and white now, so I think we have a better understanding. I think the league's doing the best they can. I mean, it's still a judgment call at the end of the day, and they're doing the best they can. I understand that there's going to be some where you don't agree with and some you do agree with, and they're doing the best they can. And yeah, I thought it was goal interference, and I think credit to Hellebuck for he was one of the ones who brought video to the league and showed what is and what isn't goalie interference, and I think that's a big deal. I mean, that's a guy that cares about the state of the game, and he wants the game to be better, and it helps us all for it.
Yeah, did you contribute any slides to his PowerPoint presentation? You know?
No, this was a long time ago. This is pre-comms era, so I can't comment on that.
I mean, a shutout would always feel great, but to do it against a really good hockey team that you know they came out lots of shots early. Just how does that feel for you personally?
Feels great. I mean, yeah. It's always fun to get a shutout, I guess. I mean, I'm never going to complain about that. So I'm not happy about. Once again, the team was awesome in front of me. This is a fun group of guys to play with. I mean, this is unbelievable. Every single night they just battle as hard as they can, give it everything they got, and it's a special team to be a part of. And I think myself and Helly are very happy to play with this group we have.
Nino, you talk about guys battling there. It's like near the end of the first period, there were a flurry of shots, and then Nino makes the big shot block from close range. You say anything to him after that one?
I just said thank you and nice block, and I mean, he's awesome, and he does it every single day. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Nino. I don't know how often you guys come here, but he's always one of the guys shooting on me before practice. He's coming out there half an hour trying to get better and trying to better his game, and I'm so thankful that I have a guy like him to be able to come on the ice and shoot on me before and get me ready for my games, because with a guy like Connor, I don't play as much as some guys who have to stay ready a different way, and I think Helly and Flats does a great job of keeping me ready, but Nino's one of the guys that comes out every single day and shoots on me, and I'm just so thankful to have that kind of guy to shoot on me, because he's such a good player and such a great guy.
All that conversation earlier this season about run support and things like that, where there was, Scott Arniel was saying you felt for you and all that sort of stuff. It almost felt when the fans roared your name for when you were named as the #1 star, like that they maybe were showing some support. Did you feel that from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's hockey's a funny game. Like, I mean, you get run support, you don't get run support. It's not my business to worry about that stuff. It's my job to worry about playing my game and controlling my controllables, and I try and do that every single day with the work I put in before practice and after practice, and I just try and go out there and give it my best and give it my best for these fans, and I'm so thankful they could acknowledge me after the game, and that's I mean, it's a great place to play. I love playing here. I always come back, right? It's for the fans.
After you won your last game, you talked about, you liked where your game was. There was, you were taking care of what you could with the process, but getting the results from you get it last time. Now you better it with a shutout. I know you liked your game, but when you get the results, where does that take you mentally?
Well, I mean, results are always fun to get, aren't they? I mean, we're always worrying about the process to get the results. So when you get the results, you got to make sure you celebrate the results, because you want to make sure you understand that you worked hard for that and you can achieve that and you did the best you can. I think it just instills trust in yourself and trust in your game and trust in your process. I think for myself, I take the result based, the confidence I can take from that, and just say, hey, look, I'm doing the right things. I'm keeping doing this, and I think you just have to trust that when you're doing stuff the right way, that you will get rewarded. And I think it's the last couple of games I've been rewarded very nicely, and yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Eric.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
what I guess felt better, the goal to open the scoring or that painful shot block at the end of the first? I guess I know the answer.
I mean, obviously the goal always feels great, but at the same time, I mean, it shouldn't have gotten that far. They had to block that shot anyways in the first place. So it's at the end of the day, I'm glad I had a chance to make it up for it.
That's an example, though, of you guys kind of doing what it takes, right, to get in shooting lanes. I think tonight's like 14 straight games. You've kept the opponent to under 30 shots. So getting in shooting lanes, that's part of your job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's a tough league to win, and I think it takes what it takes to get a win. And obviously we knew how good Carolina is as a team, and they are a high shot volume team. So we knew we have to get some blocks, and glad we found a way to win.
Does it ever get old beating your old team, Nino?
No, it never gets old. It's always a great feeling, and I mean, always had a fantastic time with Carolina. Still have a lot of friends there, but at the same time, you always want to beat the team you came from, basically.
Can you describe the play Alex Iafallo made on the Passover and the entry on his way to you?
Yeah, that was spectacular. Obviously, I saw him dance around, and then I was like, okay, maybe he's going to dance one more, and sure did, and then he passed it over, and I'm glad I found the net.
For second power play units, sometimes it can be kind of a moving, rotation of players and maybe not getting much ice time. But your guys' unit has really been together a lot of the year and recently had some success. What do you think is working for you guys recently?
I think we take a lot of pride in the minutes we get on the ice, and we know we can't take it for granted. So whenever we have a chance to go out there, we want to do the best of it. Is it like changing the momentum or getting a goal? And I think we have done a pretty good job with it.
Cole had mentioned that you guys have been a bit more assertive and kind of more shoot-first mentality. Do you think it's just kind of one of those things with power plays where sometimes you're thinking you need to pass around more than you actually do? Or what do you think that is that sometimes it was a bit stagnant?
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, obviously our first unit is elite. I mean, you have a lot of great players making great passes, seam pass, and that looks a lot prettier than what we do. But we have that mindset of, like you mentioned, getting pucks to the net and creating some chances that way, and glad to win in the night.
How would you describe this team's work ethic right now over this 7-game winning streak?
I think it's definitely been great. I mean, obviously there was games where we haven't played our best game and still found a way to win, and I think that makes us a really good team. But overall, I feel like we hold each other to a very high standard. We want to make sure we leave it out there each and every night and put ourselves in the best position possible for the future.
Comrie said that you were a big part of keeping him ready. He says you go out there early, you take extra shots on him, all that sort of stuff. How does it feel to be recognized for your contributions?
It's nice, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's the goalie, and he made some terrific stops tonight, and very happy at a chance to get another win, and obviously shutout feels great, and I'm happy for him.
There's a lot of confidence on the bench whenever there's a challenge, given how successful Matthew Fontaine and the staff has been at winning those challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been doing a good job, and obviously it's not easy making those calls because there's a lot of pressure on them. But I'm glad it worked out tonight, and I'm glad they got a goal and got rewarded for them.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Comrie just called your video coach.
You
you heard.
got wind of it. I was going to get mad he wouldn't come. I wanted him to be
Would
the
have
guy.
been great to have him at the podium here. I know it's a collective effort when you decide to challenge these things, but maybe take us through the two. Obviously, the first one, Eric and Neil, I think both had their arms up. Were you pretty confident that's coming back?
Yeah, that one we were pretty sure on because we didn't push Rantanen in. He kind of went through the blue paint and got his stick. So the second one, that's was a little trickier just because of what the score was, and we're at. I don't know if it's 1-0 game if we're maybe going to make that call. Just because it was overturned on the ice, and those are tough ones when the referee overturns them like that. So, but I think we had enough video, saw enough that Maddie, and we decided that would be the right call.
Right. In hindsight, the first period challenge, I mean, we could say it was a pretty big turning point, right?
Sure.
Instead of chasing the game, being down a goal early, you guys get it, and then you score shortly after.
Yeah.
So big swing there.
Yeah, I mean, anytime those challenges go your way, they're boost. They boost you, and like you mentioned, if they get off and get a 1-0 lead, they're on the road and they can shut down with the best of them. And but I like the way we responded. Our second power play, scoring both those power play goals. I thought they did a great job. Like they've done most of the year. So those were big moments, and that led to that win.
And just on starting Eric tonight, was this just a case you don't want maybe Connor to have too much of a break if he had played tonight and then say not Friday going into
You
Friday?
got listening devices in my office now? No, exactly, yeah, because I don't think, there'll be some practice, but I think the U.S. starts next Thursday. Yeah. So had a little bit to do with it, yeah. We wanted to make sure that, Combs was going to play one of the two, just decided that we'd have Helly do the last one.
Turned out pretty well.
Now I told you who my goalie is on Friday.
Gotcha.
Nino gets the goal, and at the end of the first period, there's that shot block that everybody saw. He's also a big part of that line that's having success without Adam Lowry on it. What can you say about his performance?
Yeah, this was one of his better games. He's played some good ones, some strong ones, but I thought tonight in all areas, like you mentioned, in our end of the rink, he did a lot of good things. His wall battles, where when he's really on his game, he wins those, whether it's on the breakouts or that's in the offensive side. But he had a lot of situations where he was net front, had some rebounds, had some tips, created sort of the chaos that's around there from just his big body being there. And I think on Pionk's goal, he was the one battling on the wall that kind of helped dig that out of there. So lots of good things that you like to see from a guy like him, big power forward.
Nemestikov's line looks like it's creating more and more often, and maybe him in particular, his shifts where he takes over are more often now than a little while ago. What's changed there that's working so well?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there was a little bit fly coming off the injury. Now they've kind of up and running, and you can tell they're in sync with each other. I really see it when they get in the offensive zone, how they make those 10-foot passes to each other, and they kind of scissor cycle, and they kind of use the three of them are fairly close together, and somehow they come out of that sort of pile up, and there's one of them going to the net all by himself, or there's somebody who gets a real good look. They feed off each other real well. I know they talk a lot, they look at video a lot, and they kind of build off of sort of stuff they've done in the past.
Just wanted to also ask about, does the top line maybe feel pressure to get Scheif that goal? Do you think that there's a bit of that?
Well, I think it just happened the other night. It just happened. I don't think there's anything going down that road. I think it'll happen when it happens. Our group, I haven't seen it yet where everybody's deferring and trying to get him the puck, but I think that if we're later in the year or if it was something like that, I think that you might see it. But for now, I mean, he just tied it the other night, so we'll see how it plays out.
On the second challenge, I know that it happened sort of at a TV timeout, but how much time do you and Matt usually have to decide if you're challenging or not?
Yeah, usually not that long.
Right.
And usually there isn't a TV timeout, so I asked if I could tell them my answer at the end of the timeout. They wouldn't let me do that. But the big thing, usually it's not much more than 30 seconds. You got to make your decision pretty quick. And there are a bunch of different angles that you have to kind of look at. And that one specific, because above it wasn't really helping us. Yeah. The referee had mentioned that it was interference on the goalie before the puck hit the goalie, but it wasn't after we saw what we needed. We didn't know that was the call. The referee did tell us that it was goaltender interference, prior to the puck hitting the goalie, and then once we saw all the video, it wasn't. So that's how we felt pretty confident that we were going to move forward.
Coaches often say that video coaches are kind of the hidden gem of their staff, and tonight we saw that as a result. But just in general, what can you say about what someone like Matt and the video staff do for you in your job?
It's the amount of work they do behind the scenes is unreal. Him and James Cochran, all our pre-scouts, we go back sometimes 3-4 games on every opponent, so all that video has to be ready for all the different coaches, whether that's 5-on-5 or specialty teams. Our analytics department goes through them on the hockey side and moves upstairs as well, but they we have that stuff handed to us the next day. The amount of work those guys do is, it is yeoman's work, and they do a ton of stuff. And then you get in the pressure situations of like tonight. Those are big moments, and they're big situations. And that was really the big one for me. Like I said, if that's a 1-goal game, I'm not sure how far we go down the road on that one. And with 3 minutes to go, but those guys are good at what they do. And our success. We always talk about our family and our group. Our coaching staff isn't just the guys you see on the bench. There's a lot more of us, and Matty and James are a big part of that.
Just one last one. On the second power play unit, Cole said last game that he thought that the unit has been a bit more assertive with the way that they're attacking it. Tonight, again, there's another instance. What do you think has led to that shift there in terms of maybe how they were playing before to how that 5-man unit is playing now?
Yeah, the big thing, and they did it in Washington, is we're not just trying to get set up in the zone and then try to get a scoring chance. The first goal and then the one in we scored off the rush. We broke them down and got inside and got a great look. Obviously, Nino got a great pass. It just that our mindset is if it's a face-off, we're attacking. If it's an entry, we're trying to attack. If it's, obviously once you get set, then you're going in through the sort of the sequence. But that group, they all can make plays, and that's what you're seeing. And I like the fact that their mindset is to attack, and that's what they did off that entry. And the other one was the battle on the wall. It was, Carolina is extremely aggressive, one of the most aggressive teams in the league on their PK, and that came down to a 3-against-3 battle, and we came up with a puck. I know the Orlov blocked the shot, but Pionk was ready to pounce on the next one, and that's the stuff you need to do.
You had to work hard to attack. You could see in a lot of your opposition tonight, like their body language. You guys are a frustrating team to play against. It's a grind, and you guys just quite often outwork your opponents. Nino was saying that work ethic comes from the idea that everyone's got a high standard for each other. In your time here, when did you kind of see that lock in, the idea that everyone around the room is looking to each other and saying, you got to bring more?
Well, I think it's just been building for me the last 2.5 years. It's been something that you're trying to implement. I think the buy-in from everybody, that everybody plays the same way when we don't have the puck. Everybody tries to do a lot of that. I mean, skill set's different for everyone, but we try and do a lot of the similar things. Our D-zone, how we play without our puck, there is no one way for one group, another way for another. That's the buy-in part that happens from everybody. It just seems that tonight for that game, that first period again was another real solid first period, and I agree with you. I think we frustrated them a little bit. We got them on their heels. We got playing fast against them. The second period, they did turn it a little bit, and they got after us, and we got stuck in our end. But I really loved our third. I think we had the chances in the third were 6-1 for us, and that's what I like to see. That's the mentality of us taking it to teams, playing jet hockey, and that's the buy-in, everybody doing it. When we do it, we get results from different lines. We get results, from different defensemen, and that's our success comes from our team game.
Yeah, the way you defend. It's hard areas all over the ice for your opposition. On your wall it says embrace hard areas. And I do notice from night to night, even when you're playing fairly good teams, it's almost like you can feel they're not as interested in grinding against that as your guys seem to be very interested in getting into that grind. How did you get them in the mindset to embrace hard areas the way it looks like you've got to do?
I think that's just doing it and having success, showing it, talking about it, repeating it. We've been doing it since game one. It's hard to play a 60-minute game that way. You're going to have your ups and downs, but when you do, you do all those right things, it leads to the offense, and then we've been able to score, and that is really us getting out and ahead on teams. And then they have to really try to get through us, and that's kind of the whole idea behind things is we want to be frustrating to play against. And like I mentioned, you can't do it all 60 minutes. It's hard to do, but at the end of the day, if you can frustrate teams enough, they'll make a mistake. They'll turn them, at the wrong time, and that's when you capitalize on them. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.